Welcome back to Local to Global, and in this episode we have made the biggest signing in our company history, both in terms of size and, well, size and importance. Anyway, welcome back. This is Spike Piledriver Wrestling. My name is Anders. If you're new here, make sure you are subscribed, like the video, check out the other episodes in this Local to Global playlist. It's a 1992 database where we're now currently in May of 1997. We're 5 years plus in our Local to Global challenge. We're basically taking a tiny, insignificant, small, 0-0 everything company and making them the biggest in the world. And we're getting there. We're not too far off. We're medium size now, which is apparently rivals with WCW because they're also medium as well. Anyway, yeah, if you like the video, please like the video and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Comment down below your favourite part of the episode. And without any further ado, I'll get back to you obviously, and without any further ado, we'll check out who our new signing is. And it's not Christian Cage, it is Andre the Blooming Giant, who is still alive in May of 1997, and we've just signed him. He's huge. He's 7'4", 520 pounds. I mean, he can barely move anymore, but his stamina's not too bad. He's got some psychology. He can just about turn up. We'll try him out. I mean, his popularity, that's the thing we've signed him for, 73 in the US, which, if we look at have we got anyone over, say, 55 in the US? Let's just do that. We've got Andre the Giant. We've also got Mark Merrow, who's been a revelation since joining us. Raven is up there. Rob Van Dam, obviously our current world champion. Terry Funk, and also the Kid just sneaks into that above 55 on average range. So he's well and truly more popular than everyone else. Not by too much, but we'll see how we get on. We've got an angle idea for him that we're going to kick off with our TV taping in a second. But we'll debut him and see how we get on that front. We have made a couple of contract renewals for a few other people as well, but no other new members of the roster starting. We've got a few contracts coming up in, one, Psychosis is coming up in about 40 days, 39 days, so we'll see about him as well. But let's just do a recap of the scene. We'll set the scene before we go into our TV taping. So, we are based in the southeast of the United States, where we currently have 61 popularity, which is above the 59 threshold for medium, and the 35 everywhere else is kind of just a given, really. Mid to high 40s in quite a few regions now, 52 in the tri-state, still in the 30s for the Northwest, apparently, and Puerto Rico and Hawaii. I don't think I've actually ever spotted that the Northwest is still lagging behind everywhere else compared to, so I guess that's what that is. I guess we're nowhere near the Northwest, so that'll be why. But it is coming up quite quickly. Canada, we are not far off being able to get a bigger broadcasting deal there. We've got 36 in Alberta, 29 in Quebec and Ontario, 22 in British Columbia and Saskatchewan, Manitoba and the Maritimes lagging behind. Mexico's coming along nicely. That might be our next target area after the British Isles, because we need to get the Midlands popularity up to 34 in order to get coverage on Eurosport, which will cover all of the British Isles and Europe. So to mention, we bought All Star Wrestling in the north of England, which is why we got such a high popularity there, and we're now building up our Midlands popularity to the point hopefully we can start basically getting coverage in British Isles and Europe, and that's it. We don't got any popularity in Japan anymore, Oceania or India, so don't worry about those. So that's kind of the task ahead, is basically get through the TV taping. We're going to look at our events coverage as well, because we're going to shift our events to pay-per-view from the next event, which is Doomsday in 9 days. And I think we can also move our Canadian coverage to pay-per-view as well. But we'll get to that after our TV taping. In terms of our champions, RVD is our current world champion. Has been going on since January, 138 days. He defeated Terry Funk in a three-way against Raven, who was champion for 427. And the story is that RVD has never pinned Raven in a world title match. He's beaten him in world title matches, but generally speaking, Raven is his arch rival and nemesis and keeps beating him when it really matters. So we're going to kind of play that out over the next few months and have a big blow-off between the two of them. Tag division is still cursed. It's been cursed since the beginning of time. Christian Cage and Samu are our current tag team champions. Christian Cage and Adam Impact, the Suicide Blondes, were our champions. Then Edge decided to go to WCW. The transition to the Hardys for a month, and they're not quite over enough just yet. So we've got Cage and Samu, who are both members of Raven's Nest. as our current tag team champions, but generally speaking, our tag division is in shambles. We've also got our World Television Championship, which is technically our secondary singles title, but it is more prestigious than our world title, and that's because we generally went through a phase of having every single TV episode had a title defense on it. It's had champions like Malenko, Guerrero, Mysterio, Jericho, Van Dam, Saturn, The Kid, Tommy Dreamer, Booker T. Mark Merrow is now current champion. Kane has been champion twice, by the way. He's the only one who's done that. But Mark Merrow has come on, and actually, he's been doing so good. He's currently feuding with Buff Bagwell, for that one. And then we've got a Junior Heavyweight Championship, which we've not actually used very much. It's kind of we've got it there, just a little bit to use. We're kind of not sure what to do with our junior division yet. But Super Crazy, our current two-time champion, he exchanged the title a couple of months ago now, actually, back in February, with Takumi Shinoku. We've also got our King of Combat Battle Royal, which happens in November, so we'll talk about that in a future episode. Right, we'll go through to our TV taping now. We block tape 4. In fact, we'll go on to our broadcasting at the moment. So we have Unleashed every Friday. We block tape 4 episodes at a time, and that is aired on A&E, which gets us big coverage in the US, and TSN2, which gets us very small coverage in Canada, but we are looking to expand that going forward. And we've got those deals in place now for the next few months. We've also got our events on the same channels, but we're going to look to change those ahead of our next event, Doomsday. Right, let's go to the TV tapings. I'll be back in a second with episode 117 ready to go. Okay, back in for the first episode of our taping block. It's episode 117 of Unleashed, and we start things off with a Junior Heavyweight Championship match, and the crowd weren't massively thrilled by this because none of the competitors are particularly over, but we mix things up a little bit as Jeff Hardy gets the championship in a 4-way, pinning Super Crazy with a twist of hate to get the Junior Heavyweight title, also including Takumi Shinoku and Super Delphine. Everyone put in pretty strong, solid mid-40s for their performances in ring, but apparently nobody likes our Junior division because they're all pre-show workers that they don't have investment in. Great, nice to know. Anyway, 37 for the match, crowd simmering. We'll bring it back though as we get Mark Merrow out there, a little poor when trying to improvise his dialogue. But he admits that he was nursing an injury at high voltage, but he still had enough in the tank to beat Bagwell. Tonight he's back to full fitness and looking to take care of Todd Champion and remain the TV champion of the world. Gets to 65, pulls the crowd back in, and that match itself should be very, very good, in fact, as Todd Champion and Mark Merrow have great chemistry, a pretty good chemistry. The Merrow creative finish, it was a success as well, and he makes defense number 7 of the TV title with a 77 segment rating for the match, 70 for his in-ring performance, 58 for Todd Champion as well. Surprisingly good by both of them. That chemistry really helping as well. Mark Merrow, wish I'd have signed him sooner because he's been incredibly good since we brought him on board. Next up, RVD is out, the world champion. I put starts the show, but I've then realised I've not booked him to start the show. He refutes the claim that he's dodging Raven, and despite having beaten him countless times for the title, doesn't care who he faces as long as they earn their shot. He'll put the title on the line, even if it's Raven or a member of his nest. Gets to 64, struggled a little bit when going off script, and I was originally going to start the show with RVD, but I moved him to later on in the card, just because we can do. Main event is not as good as the Merrow and Champion match, but the Nest, that's Raven Cage and Samu, get a victory over Joey Maggs, the Patriot, and Stevie Ray. Even Flow DDT gets the job done. And we made this the main event, even though it probably wasn't going to be as good as the Merrow match, but it makes sense when you see the follow-up angle afterwards. Gets a 63, and then we get a 91 for the main angle. After victory in the main event, Raven promises to hold the company hostage until he gets his rightful world title shot against RVD. He's fed up of being ignored, but before he can make any more threats, Andre the Giant arrives. The huge French monster enters the ring, slowly, even in his old age, and he stands tall over Raven, the leader of the Nest, quickly exiting the ring before anything can get physical. Andre's got a poor rating for a giant gimmick and performed poorly in the segment. Raven loved working the crowd. Angle idea was a success. Got a 91, so even with that ping for Andre, still very, very good. Hopefully it gives us a very good, 65. Not as great. If we got the Merrow match as the main event, maybe it would have pulled us in a little bit better. But 65 is still a good showing. Popularity increases in 14 regions. So there we go. Let's move on to episode number 2 of the taping. Apparently there's been an incident backstage. Shiri's been getting ribbed for spending too much time with Perry Saturn. Okay, that's not a bad thing, surely. Right, we'll do episode number 2 and see where we get on this one. Okay, and cut straight to episode 118. And, well, here we go, straight into it. We start out with Marcus Bagwell, who is far from happy with how his match with Mero went at High Voltage. He played a great game by having his beautiful wife at ringside and distracted Bagwell from the match. He wants a rematch for the TV title, and when he wins, he wants a night with Sable as well, which is a bit promiscuous of him, or presumptuous. Probably both. Anyway, 61 rating for his angle. He struggled a little bit going off script, but still did a decent job. And then in the ring, he got a pretty good match out of Van Hammer as well. The match got a 58 rating. Bagwell with a 57, Van Hammer with a 42. Diving clothesline gets the job done for Not Quite Buff Bagwell there. 58 though, good start to the show. We can only improve upon that, and we definitely do so as Perry and Terry defeat the Fantastics in a tag team match. They both get a 71 for their in-ring performance, and that is the match rating as well. 71. Okay, this is a good show. This is going to be better than the first taping, I believe. We then move on to an RVD promo, who we clearly enjoyed the freedom of going off script this time, which is a bit hit and miss sometimes with RVD. He'll continue to take on all comers, whether it's Ice Train, who he's got in the match tonight, Raven, or even Andre the Giant. Come and get a title shot. He'll face you for it as long as you earn it. 68, and then we get the main event, which is an 81, which is pretty ridiculous, really, that Ice Train's getting one of our better matches of, well, definitely the best match of the night, maybe one of the better matches of the year so far in the 80s. We're getting quite a lot of matches in the 80s these days, actually, so maybe it's not. But unsurprisingly, Van Dam makes his 13th defense of the World Heavyweight title, getting an 81 for his in-ring performance, matching the match rating. Ice Train with a very, very solid 58. So you can't really grumble about his performance. And then we close things out with a Raven promo. He's shocked and does not have any idea why the hell Andre the Giant is even here. This ain't the 70s anymore. Why is this giant old man showing up in Raven's ring? If he needs to get his ass kicked, all he has to do is ask. Now, big words from Raven when Andre's not around. We'll see how talkative he is when Andre is back in the ring, whether that's next week or at Doomsday, which we'll see. Gets an 86 and closes the show nicely for a 77 rating, increasing popularity in 13 regions, which means we've hit some caps already for growth in some regions across our 2 nations that get coverage. Still, 77 is very, very good. Moving on to our 3rd taping of the night, and we'll do this one quickly for you right now. As we're going to end the show with a giant contract signing that potentially suggests who is here in attendance tonight, which we may have already alluded to, but there you go. I can't remember. I've done this the wrong way around on some of these, but we'll do it. Anyway, this is why I sometimes pause the recording and do this bit off camera, because, well, I'm terrible. Right, we'll go with that. A little bit angle heavy towards the end of the show, but we'll figure that one out. We are happy to go here. Right then, let's kick straight off with our tag team contest to start the night. The crowd not happy because apparently unimportant guys being used. I mean, everyone's unimportant on the roster, so we're going to always face that one. Gets the 37, which is a little bit disappointing, as the Hardys team up to defeat El Hijo del Diablo and Negro as Tekka. Obviously, Jeff Hardy, the new junior heavyweight champion. Good, solid, high 50s, nearly 50, high 40s, nearly 50 in-ring performance for both Hardys, and they get the job done with an Omega event on Del Diablo. And then we move into a mid-card match, which is a little bit disappointing, actually. The Kid defeats Tim Horner with a super kick, gets a 56. Neither man really setting the world on fire with their performances. The Kid is definitely worse off now than he was when he was in his first stint with the company. His neck, basically, is continuing to wear down on his performances. Then we say hello to Terry Funk, who tells us he's been on a bit of a rocky road since losing the world title back in January. He's focused, though, or was it February? I can't remember, on making this last run even more special, but he doesn't want to cut the line. He'll work for a shot at regaining his title. That gets to 71, and then the match in which he does earn that shot, basically, is great. An 81 for Terry Funk against Samu. 69 performance, which is very nice from Terry Funk. 64 from Samu, who's obviously a very strong member of our roster, tag team champion, and the creative finish was also a success. That leads us into RVD, thinking both the Kid and Terry Funk have done enough to earn a title shot, so we'll face them both at Doomsday in a 3-way for the world title. Again, hit and miss with RVD, very poor when trying to improvise his dialogue, gets 58, and we close out the show with a 77, actually, which is a slightly disappointing angle rating for these pair. Raven and Andre the Giant meet face to face in the ring. Raven gives out a barrage of insults, so his talk is still quite loud here. But a laugh from Andre the Giant. He doesn't say much, he just laughs, looks intimidating, and they sign a contract and agree to a match at Doomsday. Andre the Giant will be wrestling in 1997. I bet you've never heard that one before, have you? Considering he died in 1993 in the real world. It's quite surprising. Anyway, 77 for the closing angle. Gets a 71 overall. A lot of overuse because the opening contest was a long one. But still, increased our popularity in 11 regions. So we can't really grumble at that. Let's go through Raven and Angel Azteca getting into a heated argument. Apparently, during the pre-show booking team meeting, I got into a bit of an argument with Raven as well. But there we go. He's just that kind of character. Final taping of the night, and hopefully we will fly through this one if we can remember which matches we were planning to have where. I think we're going to end with a Raven promo. And what's that one? Okay, so we want Buff Bagwell to attack Mark Merrow after tonight's main event. We're going to go Regal Merrow in the main event. Before that, we'll have this tag team match. Then we'll have our angle with the world title picture, and then a king-on-king violence to start the show. None of them are Jerry the King Lawler. Both kings in the match are not a Lawler. There we go, let's start things out, and it's 2,754 in attendance at the Dothan Civic Centre, where we're taping 4 episodes, so good luck to them. We start out with a pretty average match, 46. Creative finish was a success as Angus King, still nominally part of the Nest, but not really involved with them at the moment, defeats his namesake, Rex King, which I'm sure Rex is King, so King against King. Yes, again, none of them Jerry Lawler. Rex was off his game, 42 for Angus, 36 for his brother, 46 overall for the match. Bit of a slow start, but better than last week's. And then the 3 men who will meet for the world title at Doomsday meet in the ring and argue about who will leave with the title. Each man puts forward their claim, and surprisingly, RVD, Funk and Kid managed to go the whole segment without a brawl breaking out. They'll do all their fighting at Doomsday. RVD struggled a little bit without script, and we got a 63 for the angle rating there. Hopefully, we'll get better angles as we go through for the rest of the night. We then have a tag team title match as the Nest defeated Lance Storm and Sean Morley. I kind of had forgot that I'd got Morley on the roster, but Cage pins Val Venus with an Impaler to defend the titles for the second time in their reign. Samu, 56 in ring. Cage, 45. Lance Storm up to 48. Lance Storm up to 45. 56 for the match rating. Again, could be better. I'm hoping the main event pulls out a little bit better. It does, as Regal loses to Mark Merrow after a TKO. Defense number 8 already of the TV title. 77 for the main event. 73 for Merrow. 63 for Regal. Very, very strong in-ring performance. Obviously, Regal has still got no momentum whatsoever, and he's just not getting over. So we're struggling. We're just going to use him because he's very good in the ring to put people who are better than him over. And then we end that segment with a attack by Marcus Bagwell on Mark Merrow. Buff wasn't kidding when he said he had unfinished business, and he beats down Merrow before holding the TV title aloft, or just the TV if you read what I wrote in the angle description. 75 though, excellent stuff. And then we close out with a Raven promo. He claims he's always been the underdog, even when he was playing mind games with his opponents and beat them before they even realised they were in a fight. But at Doomsday, it will be a different story. Andre the Giant is out of this world. Raven promises to do the unthinkable and conquer the Giant one-on-one. Although it's probably more like 1.5, because he's very old and very broken down despite his massive size. 78 though to close the show. Gives us a 73 overall, which is some good consistency across the 4 tapings. And what I'm planning to do going forward possibly with the next block of tapings, maybe the one after that, is going down to just 2 tapings at a time, and then eventually moving Unleashed from an hour to 90 minutes. Finance-wise, made a nice healthy profit on the taping block, which is not something we ever used to do, but this broadcast revenue that's coming in now is definitely turning us into a profit, and we're spending a lot more money on workers than we were ever in the past as well. Popularity recap, up nicely in quite a few regions now. I think we're now at the tipping point in Canada, which is always good to see. We're going to have a look at broadcasters in a second anyway. So there we are. We've done the TV taping. We'll be back for Doomsday, but before we get to Doomsday, we want to sign some new broadcasting deals. Now, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the A&E broadcasting on TV for when we do the All-Star shows, so we're not going to put them on pay-per-view as well as our regular monthly pay-per-view, because then we'll probably get pinged for having too many pay-per-views during a month. So there we go. Over 1 million watched Unleashed, which is ridiculous nowadays. But there we go. Finance-wise, by the way, for May, we are looking on a massive profit. We're over 1 million in the bank now as well, which is just a little bit ridiculous. But let's have a look. So we are at big for our coverage in the US, very small for our coverage in Canada, and that's across both TV and events. I'm pretty sure we can just get a new events deal in place and ignore the current one. But we'll have a look now. So let's... we're able to... sorry, I was forgetting that we crossed the threshold in Canada. So this is the Canadian situation. We can now get Headline Sports as a bit of coverage in Canada, Medium and Omni. So we've got a choice there for the 2 of them. But I was looking at potential pay-per-view carriers. Now, do we go for a pay-per-view that's small or a TV that's medium? I guess that's the question. And it just depends on, well, it differs for all of the different ones. I think we go with Headline Sports and negotiate a events deal with them and see what we can do with them. They're not willing to offer us that time slot. Are they all offering that one? Daytime or late night? Which one's better? That's the question. 40. We'll go with daytime for a year, because I think we're probably at the point where we're not going to get much bigger in Canada in terms of our coverage for a while, and then we'll just see how much they will give us in terms of the revenue split. Probably quite high, actually, 35%. We'll go with 35% for a year. Late night slot's a little bit poor, but we'll go with it there and propose that deal. Yes, that means we can go in here and TSN, we can cancel the deal for events. They'll be happy to just let us cancel. So TSN2 can be gone from our events lineup. We'll keep the A&E one there for now, because this is also cable rather than pay-per-view. Commercial rather than pay-per-view. It will keep that on for both. And if we look at now in the US, and where's it gone? USA coverage size, we want to be at least medium, if not higher now. In fact, I'm pretty sure we can go for big there. Let's have a look at what's available for big. Yeah, so there are 2 options, basically, Comcast or Cox as pay-per-view providers. So we're going to go with Comcast because, Cox have already got CMLL, so let's just go for it. New deal for events. They want a minimum of 12 episodes guaranteed. Okay, that is fine. Not willing to offer that time slot. What about early evening? Not keen. Happy with daytime. Happy with late night. We'll go late night, and we'll basically see how much. Okay, not willing to do a deal with that revenue split. So we go 25% of the revenue late night, and they've got okay. We'll go with that. Should we just go for it for 9 months? They want 9 minimum episodes. Are they going to give us a bit more if we go? Okay, so we'll go with late night for 9 months, and then we'll reassess whether we can get a better time slot, basically, for our events. But they're going to be each monthly pay-per-view is there on Comcast on pay-per-view. We're going to do that. We'll accept, and that is excellent there. Right, let's just go to the Will Negotiate, see if we've ticked over anyone else who's worth mentioning. In fact, let's go for regions that we, coverage in, regions that aren't US or Canada. Anything in Mexico? No. British Isles? We could technically get on Setanta Sports, which is a pay-per-view provider. and will give us a. I mean, that's new. We couldn't do that a while ago. So let's do that. Let's negotiate our events deal on and see what they give us on Setanta Sports. We'll go with daytime is available, and again, so is late night. So we'll go down to 6 months. Just get some more coverage in the European regions, and they're happy to give us a 35% split on Setanta Sports for our event. So we'll do that. I wasn't expecting that to happen, so excellent. We've got some more coverage that I wasn't particularly expecting. We do not have any coverage in Japan or Europe, I imagine. A bit of Setanta Sports that we've just signed a deal with, who also basically host WCW as well. Nothing in Australia and nothing in India either, but there we go. That's worth doing. Right, so we've got some different coverage now. If we look at our coverage, we've got a little bit of coverage in Britain and Europe on our events, which is shocking, I know. That's going to help us grow to a position where we can get Eurosport quicker, so it's even better. Coverage in events is now big in America, medium in Canada. When you go to TV, very small in Canada and nothing in the UK and Europe. But we are getting better. We're getting better coverage, which means we're going to get better size, which means we're going to get more money, essentially. We're not far off from getting 34 in the Midlands now, which is excellent. And that'll help us there. Merchandise is at 60%. That's going to grow. Andre the Giant now already appearing on the top merchandise sellers for the month. He's only been here a few days, so that's excellent to see. But back then for Doomsday on the 1st of June, it's got Raven against Andre the Giant, and a massive, who knows how that's going to go down, whether Andre can even go 10 minutes, not sure. Then we've got the three-way for the title, Rob Van Dam, The Kid, and Terry Funk. And probably something else as well. I'm sure we've already... Mero and Bagwell for the TV title. Something involving the junior title and something involving the tag titles as well. But we'll go for it. There we go. At least 5 matches on Doomsday. Maybe some more. See you in a second. Okay, we are into June, and the finances for the month are actually ridiculous now. $346, nearly $47,000 in profit. Ticket sales are just so ridiculous. Broadcast revenue has also helped. That's the main difference month on month, the broadcast revenue. Everything else is pretty similar, but that's switching over to getting actual revenue from our broadcasting, which happened slowly through the last few months, is just ridiculous. So that's made the big difference, and we'll go through things. What we have done in the meantime, by the way, is we've got a few contract renegotiations. So we're actually going to try and do written with ironclad per show contracts. So that should mean that people don't get signed to exclusive contracts. Hopefully, we should see. Using that on these four here. So Mero, Saturn, Kid, and Bagwell, because they're kind of near the top of the card and they aren't exclusive to us. There are a couple of people at the top of the card, like Funk, who we aren't getting exclusive on a written, but he's not really likely to go. And if he does go, we'll be able to replace kind of a little bit of what he's doing. These are sort of the younger guys who are sort of the backbone of our roster longer term. Right, let's go into Doomsday. I believe this may be our first pay-per-view ever. And in fact, I believe it is going to be our first pay-per-view ever. We are going to be broadcast on Setanta Sports in, well, Ireland, a bit of Europe. Very small coverage in the rest of the British Isles. But that's going to be good. Comcast is big pay-per-view coverage across the whole of the United States, which will be excellent. And we're also on medium coverage TV in Canada. So we're going to actually get some really good gains, hopefully, from this. And I'm very excited for the show as well. And I'm really intrigued to see how Andre the Giant gets on, because that's going to be really, really interesting to see. Basically, whether he can do anything. Let's go through. So what we normally do here is we just sort of filter for anyone who's not unimportant, and we'll give them the night off if they are not involved in a match. And it's trying to remember who isn't involved in matches when I booked things. I think Joey Maggs is. Yes, he is. Yes. I think there's not many who are left. He is Van Hammer. What about Todd Champion? He might be the only. No, he's involved as well. Okay, so everyone else who's either unimportant or booked unimportant according to their perception, not according to my perception. Alright, we are going to be... Where's the BJCC Arena? In Birmingham, Alabama. It hosts such things as Disney on Ice, American Idol Live, the Ringling Bros, and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Some of those things I don't think actually exist in 1997, but a capacity of 17,654 and an expected attendance of over 15,000 people. Right, we'll go with that. Let's try it out. Broadcasters, this is where we need to make sure we do the right thing. So Setanta, Comcast, and Headline Sports. We aren't going to go on A&E because that will clash with Comcast. So we'll use that selection and see how we go with pay-per-view. Booking team, we've got 106 creative energy to spend, and we've got quite a few creative finishers. I think some of them, no, none of them was likely to succeed. A couple of angle ideas, a safe bet for Perry Saturn. If he's winning tonight, make sure to put that one on, and we might use this one for our Raven and Andre the Giant match. So let's just have a quick look if we can get another decent. That's likely to succeed as well, and we'll do another creative finish as well. Use them up here. Safe bet, excellent. Right, we might use the safe bet for Raven and Andre just to try and give it a little extra boost and see what we can use for other ones. Right, locker room incidents. Terry Funk and Ben McCoy having a blazing argument outside the venue. Oops. Gossip that they had to be separated after a huge... They're falling out, aren't they, these pair? Perry Saturn doing some cartoons. Excellent. Wonderful. Let's move on. Right, last year's Doomsday, we've got a 74. It's great seeing some of the progress. So 59, 67 in 1993. Had a cage match with Lynn and Jarrett in the main event. Then we had 52, a little bit down. 48, still going down. That's even 95, we only got 48s. Jarrett and Brian Lee as the main event. It's kind of a bit of a disappointing one, clearly. Last year was really good. 74 as Raven and Jericho stole the show. And hopefully we'll get somewhere similar to that tonight. So, right, we'll go through and book it, shall we? Do we give Raven and Andre the main event, or do we trust... I think we'll trust the world title match a little bit more. We'll go for a creative finish as well, which is a likely to succeed one. That's a big gamble. We probably don't want to do big gambles. We've got a safe bet, and that likely to succeed there. We'll drop that one in as there, and I don't think there's an angle behind. We're running out of time basically to put more angle up. I might put an extra angle in if we do have the chance to. And we've got a creative finish here, which is going to be a safe bet for Raven and Andre. It's only going to be a 7-minute match because I'm not sure Andre can go much longer. Although saying that, he's not got much less stamina than, say, the Kid, for example, who's just worn down and completely gone, basically. We'll drop in a Perry Saturn Steven Regal match here as well, because, well, in fact, I needed to... Hang on. Let's add in the creative finish that we were talking about for Mr. Saturn, because that needs to happen as well. That'll give them a good boost, and then we'll go back to our pre-booking. And we'll get this, and here we go. I'm pretty sure we are going to run out of time, essentially. Have I managed to book it just to the wire? 112 minutes, 112 minutes, excellent. Mark Curtis is slightly too much refereeing tonight. Have we got another actual referee? That's the question. Let's have a look. Can we? We haven't. Is anyone got any refereeing ability whatsoever? Oh, Angel Azteca can do a bit of a refereeing spot at 50. We might have to just do that for one match. Anyone? Mark Curtis at 93. Anyone who's got higher than 50? No. Okay, so Angel Azteca can be the referee for this one, just as a one match, just to get rid of that potential issue, and then we might have to start looking at getting a second referee in. So there we go. We're at 91% matches of 112 minutes, so we probably would have had more angles, but we have ran out of time because we're doing too many matches, basically. So let's go. Let's see how we get on with this show, and I'm really worried about the Raven Andre match, but we'll go for it. Right, 15,187 in attendance. Jeff Hardy retains his newly won junior heavyweight title in the main event, defeating Brian Lawler, Super Crazy, and Taka Michinoku. Swanton Bomb on Taka gets the job done. Everyone in the high 40s, basically. Jeff's getting a bit of a stale gimmick, though, so we need to have a quick look at that one after the show. But a 54 rating for the opener is a pretty solid start. Crowd simmering, off to a strong start, though. Obviously now our expectations are so high that 54, which was better than the main event from 2 years ago, is just okay. Then we had Matt Hardy and Todd Champion. This one was just to get Matt Hardy on the card as well. He beats Todd Champion, though, with a twist of fate in 8 minutes. 53 for the segment rating. Again, pretty decent, solid mid-card ring performances around the 50 mark. Can't complain about either of those. Obviously, Matt Hardy is too big for the cruiserweight division, or the junior heavyweight division, rather. So he has to just do other stuff now, where Jeff Hardy's busy. So there we go. Moving on, speaking of tag teams, we've got a tag team match which sees The Nest defeat the Fantastics, The Simpsons, and Joey Maggs and Tim Horner when Christian Cage pinned Steve Simpson with the Impaler. 4-way match for the tag titles. The Nest make their third defense of the titles, though. We still don't really have any idea what to do with our tag division. Samu with the highest performance in the ring of 60, holding everything up for the team. But generally speaking, apart from the Simpsons in the low 40s, high 30s, everyone else pretty good. Again, still simmering, though. We've not quite tipped the crowd into a hot frenzy just yet, but hopefully we'll get there with things like this. As Mark, oh, this is actually disappointing. Mark Merrow and Marcus Bagwell have a pretty hot match, but the ropes are used for leverage as Bagwell cheats to win and steals the World Television title. He gets a 65, which I think is lower than the match from the previous month when Merrow was injured, but because it's a tainted finish and we've had to just kind of squeeze something out of it, it's a little bit down. But they'll go for a third match again at some point in the not too distant future, potentially to get Merrow his win back, and maybe not, maybe move Merrow onto the world title picture sometime soon as well. But a 74 for Merrow, 58 for Bagwell. Good match, and we have a really disappointing angle afterwards, which I'm surprised about because it's rated on Sable's sex appeal, and she's got 100 sex appeal, so maybe that's our product that's not working there. Not only has Bagwell stolen the World TV title, he's also stolen a night with Merrow's wife, Sable. He grabs the unwilling Sable by the arm, drags her away, clearly choosing tonight as that night. And probably won't go very much further with that because Sable does not fit our product, apparently. There's no dirt sheet bone, like high morale, penalised with poor gimmick. I think it's just because it's sex appeal angle in this product doesn't work. Moving on, we'll bring the crowd back with a Perry Saturn Steven Regal match, which is basically just a bit of a throwaway, get Perry on the card, get Regal on the card. Great in-ring performance from both men. 74 brings the crowd back up, so that little dip, we'll forget about it. But Saturn does get the job done in 10 minutes with the Rings of Saturn creative finish was a success. And now we're getting into the top part of the card where I'm a little bit worried about what's going to happen with our co-main event. Raven looks very nervous ahead of his clash with Andre the Giant, and do you blame him? Because I certainly don't. I mean, it's 4 years after Andre died and he's still here. But he claims that he will be undeniable if he can conquer the Giant tonight. Claims that a victory here means that RVD will be forced to give him another shot at the title, and beating Van Dam will be a hell of a lot easier than beating Andre because he's done it before and he'll do it again. Gets a 90 for this angle, and I'm hoping that carries through into the match and it's not a disappointment. It is a little bit of it. I mean, 60? That's not bad considering Andre is 51. That's not too bad. Somehow Raven manages to hit the even flow DDT to get the job done, and it pulls out the victory. Off his game though, Andre and Rusty, which is a shame. Raven got a 62, which is a little bit low for Raven standards. A 46 from Andre is more than serviceable though, so you can't really complain there. I'm guessing the protecting Andre road agent note that Raven had to use was kind of brought his rating down a little bit. But 60, I'm glad I didn't put it as the main event, let's put it that way. But I'm happy that is okay. 60, we can handle that. And we go into the main event, which gets a 75, and that's despite a creative finish, which was a failure. Van Dam and Funk bring the business. The Kid lets the side down a little bit with his 56. 80 for Van Dam, 73 for Funk. But in the end, RVD gets the victory over the Kid, which is kind of what you'd expect to happen in this scenario. 14th defense of his world title. Again, kid struggling, 75 for the match rating. Should give us a good overall rating of 71. It's not too bad, actually. 2 really good matches, one really good angle, and everything else pretty solid, if not in, well, apart from that angle there at 26, pretty good. We have limited our gains in one British region. That's a 25, by the way. That's high for increased popularity. One British region, which will be the North, because I'm guessing the coverage is too small to grow, but that's fine. We don't need to grow in Northern England. We need to grow everywhere else to get onto Eurosport, which will help everywhere. And again, live event experience is below WCW's, which they're already big enough to move up to big, so why don't they? Right, let's give some praise out. We'll give some praise for Rob Van Dam. We'll also give Andre some praise. Told he's awesome. Yeah, we'll do that. And who else? Who else put in a good performance? Perry Saturn. Let's give Perry Saturn some complimented good performance as well. There we go. See how we move on there. Finance-wise, we have made a hell of a lot of money from the show. Pay-per-view revenue of $800,000. Just let that sink in for a second. The broadcast revenue is up at 11,000. That's from Canada. But 800,000 on pay-per-view. Pay-per-view with Andre the Giant, that is, in 1997. That we've doubled our money. We've literally doubled our money from that show. That's pay-per-view. Get on pay-per-view as soon. If you're doing a local to global and you can get on pay-per-view, do it. Look at that. Just look at that. Yeah, we are. That is, pay-per-view is a good thing. We don't need to run shows in the UK much, I don't think. I'm not even sure we need to bother running the show in the Midlands this month, because we might not get much more growth than that. We're gonna, yeah, okay, I'm happy. This is a success. Pay-per-view is a success. Media scrum, not doing that. Don't even think about doing that. That's ridiculous. What a stupid idea that would be. Right, I am slightly confused at how much money we've just made from that pay-per-view. I'm also going to go straight to our production and bump up our live event experience, because if we can get $1 million on a show each month, it doesn't matter what we're spending on production. If we're doing that, I'm going to sign everyone to written by month deals as well soon, because that's actually ridiculous. Mark Merrow tells us that Matt Hardy can't sell worth a damn. Doomsday got nearly 500,000 buys. Okay, that's ridiculous. And we're seen on TV even. Jesus, that's ridiculous. Right, let's quickly, whilst we're here, go to production and bump this up. Yes, I don't even care at the cost. We just get rid of the penalty. Okay, right. I don't think we're going to bother with All-Star Wrestling. We'll be back for the Unleashed taping, which we're going to move to just 2 tapings at a time now. And then that will probably be it for the episode. So stay tuned. Okay, we're here for our Unleashed taping, episode 121, and this feels a little bit light because we're only going to do 2 tapings, so it's going to be quite quick, essentially. But we've got the fallout from our last event and starting the build up for Immortals. So let's just go straight into it. We're at the Dothan Civic Centre once again, which I think is the same place we're at the last couple of tapings. But RVD starts the show and he agrees that Raven earned himself one final shot at the world title, but he tells Raven that he must wait until Endgame in August. Now, this is because this event was 3 years ago, the first time that the pair had a singles match against each other. Scotty the Body won that night, but RVD in 1997 is a much better wrestler and better champion than Robbie V was in 1994. So we're going to bring full circle back at Endgame, an aptly named pay-per-view, which is actually a pay-per-view as well, so I've not misspoken there. I had to nearly correct myself, but we are actually going to be on pay-per-view, so yes, excellent. We'll have to wait until August for that showdown. RVD didn't do very well with that script. Gets to 60 though, so a nice start to the show, and we start our first opening contest is Jeff Hardy defeating Brian Lawler to defend his junior heavyweight title. Moving the junior heavyweight title a bit more into focus now, instead of just using the luchadors that nobody's aware of who they are, so we'll see how this goes. But basically, these pair put in a good solid mid-card match, 51 and 48 for the in-ring performances. Overall match rating gets a 56. It's a good start to the show. And then we go to another 56. It's a bit of a thrown-together tag team match. Joe Maggs and Tim Horner get a victory over Alex Bordeaux and Todd Champion. Horner with a rolling cradle, a bit of an odd finisher, but he gets the job done, and it gets a 56. Again, a nice spread in the mid-40s to mid-50s for in-ring performance. Can't really complain. Getting everyone into the show for a change. As we go into our main segments now of the night, Mark Mero has unresolved issues with Marcus Bagwell, but he's taking the opportunity tonight to earn a shot at Rob Van Dam and the world title. That's something that not even a wild man can pass up. So the Mero Bagwell fiasco is on the back burner for a while now. 79 for the angle rating, and then the match itself is a four-way with the Mero, Saturn, Lawler and Ice Train. A bit of a thrown together four-way. Basically, this is everyone who wasn't involved in the main event picture last event earlier in the month. So that's Funk and Kid, and not Ravens. Either of these are the sort of next tier. Essentially, get Mero and Saturn involved. Lawler was the weak link, and he fell to a TKO from Mark Mero, who put in a 75. He's definitely earning this one. Gets the victory, 75 on the segment rating as well. And then we go into our main event promo, our end of show promo. RVD comes out, shakes Mero's hand, and it is now official that the two will meet at Immortals at the beginning of July with the world title on the line. Both men talk of their respect for each other, but when the bell rings, anything can happen in the ring. Mero does really well, improvised nicely. RVD was on an off night, struggled without script. Gets an H2 overall though, which should give us a nice healthy 74 rating. We have increased our popularity in 16 regions. Only one region in Canada was restricted due to the number of viewers there. I'm guessing that is whichever one is our highest one. But we'll see. We'll get there. Right, locker room incidents before night, episode number 2 of the night, nothing. So what will that be? Size-wise, Canada. I'm guessing that's Alberta, which is now somehow up to 40, which is ridiculous. If you look at the tracking of progress. We started out the year, like this time last year, we were literally in single digits for every single region in Canada. Now, obviously, this jump up here was when we bought River City Wrestling, but that has since doubled. So, anyway, that's that. Let's go into our second episode of the TV taping, and we will go into that's going to be our main event. Yes, it has got Andre the Giant in it. You are not mistaken. We have also got a Buff Bagwell defense of the TV title, and some fantastic tag team matches. Lance Storm and Rex King face the Fantastics, but that is not the important part of the night. This is Hour Long Unleashed is quick now, 61 minutes booked just like that. We start the show with Raven, who accepts RVD's proposal. 3,100 in attendance, by the way, tonight. He'll wait for Endgame before beating him for the world title once again. In the meantime, though, Mark Mero needs to watch his back, because Raven can't afford anyone else stealing the title before he gets his shot. Good promo again from Raven. H2, nice as you'd expect from him. Solid, mid-80s for his angles. We then go into the opening contest. The Fantastics defeat Lance Storm and Rex King. Bit of a thrown together team, but we're trying to find some chemistry, basically. The Fantastic flip from Bobby Fulton, and I'm guessing Jackie was involved in that as well, and they get the victory. 9 minutes, 31 seconds, 52 rating. All solid. Lance Storm with a 49. Again, though, not getting over, and won't get over in this defeat either. But, yeah, he's kind of there. Solid Paul Jericho imitation. Marcus Bagwell then is out, ready for his first defence. He had the time of his life with Mark Mero's wife. But now it's back down to business, and he will defend his TV title tonight for the first time. Loved going off script. That little rhyme about life and wife, nice. 71 is a good angle rating, and we go into the match, which gets a 66, which is not too bad at all, as Bagwell defeats the Patriot. Bagwell in the mid-60s. He is definitely going to be on his way towards the main event soon as well. Patriot with 47 is not bad. 66 overall for the match is pretty good. Bagwell's now into his 50s in the popularity as well, so he's definitely growing nicely in terms of his overness. And we move on to just before the main event, as RVD and Mero are opponents at Immortals, and RVD struggled again without a script. He's struggling. Mero came across well, though. They're opponents at Immortals, but tonight they will team up to face Raven and his Nest in a 6-man tag. And Andre the Giant will be their partner. And here comes the Giant, 51-year-old Frenchman. And we're just getting on, well, we're spending money on him. 69, which is very nice angle rating, and hopefully the fact Andre's in the main event will not tank the rating. It doesn't. He puts in a 46, which is not too bad at all. Just a little bit less than Christian Cage. Mero, RVD, and Ravenall in the 70s. Samu in the 60s, as you'd probably expect. And it's Andre the Giant who gets the victory, pinning Samu after a double underhook suplex. He's still got it. Chants ringing out throughout the arena. Possibly, possibly not. 76, though, for the main event is another solid one. And obviously, we're not getting any pings here for production warnings because we've fixed that. I don't know if I mentioned... Did I mention that earlier? I can't remember. Anyway, increased our popularity in 11 regions. Stunted in 1 because of the limited number of viewers. But we're going to fix that when we get to a better broadcaster soon for our TV show in Canada. But yes, excellent performance all around. Really strong, solid card there. Finance report made 105,000 on the show. Broadcast revenue is good. Pay-per-view obviously not happening tonight. We are going to stop doing the All-Star shows as well. I think we've done one and got a bit of a penalty for airing on Setanta Sports. But anyway, popularity recap. Yeah, so we're 40. Where's the low? We're up to the mid-30s now for Hawaii, up to 64 for the Southeast. For something in the Southwest didn't get a bop up this time. And it was Alberta that struggled, but 33 in both Quebec and Ontario, 26 in Saskatchewan, 22, 26, 19 in the Maritimes. Obviously up to 29 in the Midlands now, so it's not, we're 5 away from getting Eurosport, and we're slowly growing some other areas as well. Now we're getting pay-per-view on Setanta, but that is the end of those Unleashed tapings. Obviously only 2 taped, so we'll be back again for another 2. I think I don't know if it falls just before or just after Immortals, but we're going to try and sync up the TV a little bit more now with the events. Now we're getting bigger, it would make more sense than just here's 4 episodes. Oh, you've watched them all, haven't you? Here's the pay-per-view, and moving on like that. So we're going to try and bring that a little bit more in sync. Obviously, in the not too distant future, we'll probably go to taping TV live every week. So that's something to look forward to. Probably in about a year's time. Let's not worry about it just yet. We'll get to a better position before doing so. And I'm talking for longer now because the loading takes ages now. We're 5.5 years into a game. But there we go. The cell has been formed. By the way, one thing I do need to mention. Dutch Mantel thinks that Jackie Fulton's a good worker. Excellent. 1.3 million watching Unleashed last night. I did need to mention that WCW got rid of Kip Allen Fry as their CEO, and you would not believe who is now their CEO and head booker. It's Bradshaw. Like, seriously. Bradshaw is now CEO and head booker of WCW. What on earth is that all about? Dusty Rhodes has been kicked out of his booking position, so he's going to be thrilled. But Justin Hawk Bradshaw, who isn't over in the slightest, really failed to do anything when he was with us a couple of times. He had a stint in the end of 92 into 93, a few months in 95. Since then, he's just been lollygagging around in UWF and WSL, and now he's gone to WCW and he's taken all the power. So that's interesting. We'll see how that gets on. I think he's got a year contract, I think that said. So we'll see how long he lasts there. But that's interesting. Whilst we're here, let's do a quick recap. We're at the end of the episode. We might as well see what the WCW Championship situation is like. So Nikita Koloff is the world champion, and I think that's the same from the last time we had a look. He's been champion since February. Interesting choice. Dustin Rhodes is US champion. That might end soon. Now Dusty is no longer booking the show. TV champion is Robert Gibson. He beat Sam Houston, who beat Mr. Jerry Lynn earlier in the year. Cruiserweight champion is Pat Tanaka. Jerry Lynn was also former. Obviously, I'm talking about Jerry Lynn because he's a former member of our roster, and we'd love to have him back. But he's there. And the tag champs are the Gator and beautiful Bobby Eaton still. So yeah, we definitely checked this a few months ago because that change happened in March. I'm pretty sure I remember that. Over in the WWF, Brutus the Barber Beefcake is the new European champion. That's not what we really care about. Heavyweight champion is still the Big Boss Man. He's been holding it since Survivor Series. Intercontinental champion is now the Genius, who beat Chris Champion at WrestleMania by the look of things. Undertaker's former Intercontinental champion as well. King of the Ring has just happened, and it's been won by SPW alum Coco Beware. There we go. Royal Rumble was won by Hogan this year again. Tag champs are still the Rockers at Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. I don't know who else in the US is bigger than us now. That's what I want to know. Anyone? Is the anyone in the US bigger than us? We're now 10th. ranked. So we're technically bigger than GWF now. They've got an average of the mid-50s. They're not at medium yet. We are at medium, even though our average rating is slightly lower. Its popularity is slightly lower. Let's just quickly look at their champions as well. Whilst we're here, we might as well. Barry Horowitz, Flamanto Turbo. Hello, you are on my roster. Hi. Does that mean he's getting over more? I'd happily take more overness for him. So keep doing it. Carry on. He's their light heavyweight champion. Barry Horowitz is the heavyweight champion. Tug Taylor and Joe Cruz are tag champs. Stephen Dane is the TV champ. This is a very unfulfilling roster. I mean, Eddie Gilbert, Honky Tonk Man, Darso, Lightning Kid, Horowitz. These are, I mean, there's not many here that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to steal them. No, I'm okay, thanks. You can keep your roster. No wonder you haven't grown, GWF. What are ECW up to these days? They've still got an injured Sergeant Slaughter as their most over star. Heavyweight champions, the Sandman still. Tag champs are DC Drake and Super Destroyer number 1. Not sure why Super Destroyer number 2 is. TV champs Rhino. Hey Rhino, how you doing? Yeah? You're a WCW now, are you? Keep going. Get some more overness. I mean, you're probably their TV champion because we gave you all your overness. There we go. Right. Okay. I've talked enough. We're going to end the episode here. We'll be back for the next episode. We'll do another TV taping. We'll do Immortals, which we're lining up Mero and RVD match. And then hopefully we'll get to Endgame as well, which will have Raven and RVD for the world title. But anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Apologies that this has been a little bit delayed. It's been a bit of a struggle to get some time in to do the recording and playing the actual game. So thankfully we're here now today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Remember to like, subscribe, share, comment. I will respond to every single comment at this point anyway, if that keeps happening. So make sure you do so. Thanks if you are a member of the Patreon. Your name should be on screen right now. If you want to join the Patreon, the link is in the description. Make sure you check out the rest of this playlist. Check out WCW 2000. We're building towards a War Games match soon, so check that out in the coming weeks. And all else, just keep watching videos. Thanks a lot for watching. See you on the next one.